Yeah. So, yeah, I got Legend on day one. That's pretty cool. Um, it's with a custom deck, I guess. I mean, wasn't based on any idea that already existed. Um, it's a fun deck. It's a weird deck. So, yeah, I'm gonna try out a couple different versions of it, but um, it's quite it's quite unusual. So, essentially, I came to it just by sort of combining hand mage with some aspects of the new look tempo mage. So, um, when the set came out, I was just sort of playing like big spell hand mage really. Not the dragon one, although I have the dragon one built. I had a dragon one built and a more sort of pure, just big spell mage one built. Um, the problems with that were that, um, firstly, the big spells aren't as good as they were previously in the last format. So you've lost Dragon's Fury and you lost Meteor. Mainly Dragon's Fury is the biggest hit to the deck because you can't really sit back, wait until turn 5 and then know that you're able to maintain the board from turn 5 onwards. Uh, there's a lot less certainty now, and also you have less sort of early game minions. Like there aren't as many good taunts now. You don't have Tar Creeper, Stonehill Defender, stuff like that. So it's more difficult to sit around, I guess. So that deck didn't really pan out too well. It probably could. You'd probably have to go old school and run like Frost Nova, Doomsayer, and stuff like that. But probably not. Not the way that I'd want to go with it. The dragon package would probably be a bit better, but even then, that's that's all right. Like doesn't doesn't have too much board impact, I guess. Arcanosaur is okay as well, but um, that's 6 mana. It's a bit steep. Um, so then I started playing Tempo Mage, which you just run all the low cost spells and yeah, standard sort of Tempo Mage affair really. But what was interesting about that deck was the value that you would get out of Mana Cyclone plays. So basically you have these crazy Mana Cyclone turns. If you have Mana Cyclone and Sorcerer's Apprentice, then on turn 4 at the earliest, but realistically turn 5, you're gonna end up just spamming out all your low cost spells from your hand and then dropping the Mana Cyclone, especially if you can Elemental and Evocation into it as well. You drop the Mana Cyclone, you'll get like 5 spells on average. Really, like the lowest you're gonna get is 3 spells with it. Generally, like there are some times where you'll get 7 or 8. Like you'll just go to max hand, but generally, yeah, you'll get around 5, which is still pretty pretty mad. It's pretty crazy. So shortly after playing Tempo Mage, I thought, well, the two strategies can probably work together. You can probably use the crazy Mana Cyclone plays in order to fill up the hand for Mountain Giant plays and stuff like that. So I threw it together, not really expecting it to be that good, but it it's actually been really good. Like you beat Bomb Warrior quite a lot, which is surprising because that deck is quite annoying. And it's everywhere. It seems to. I mean, obviously this is the second day of the set being out, so the meta will change, but certainly for now, um, Bomb Warrior seems to be the most prominent deck that I've been playing against anyway, and this deck does well against that. it does well in most matchups other than a couple, and I'll make changes to accommodate that. But um, yeah, the deck is surprisingly cogent. Like, for those who don't know, the Conjurer's Calling plus Mountain Giant interaction. Um, so this is Twin Spell, destroy minion, summon two minions of the same cost to replace it. So you use this to crack a Mountain Giant, you're getting this, like you're guaranteed to get this, or a Grave Horror, which is a 7/8 with Taunt. So most classes aren't really able to deal with that too well. If on turn 6 or turn 7 you're dropping a Mountain Giant, cracking it to get 2. Um, you know, yeah, most classes are in a position where they can deal with those two things. Um, most aren't in a position where they can deal with you spamming the board with them. Obviously, warriors have brawl, priest have the 5 mana one that makes them all fight each other. So in those matchups, you're more inclined to slow roll it. So just drop a Mountain Giant, use Conjurer's Calling, pass. They have to then deal with those two. You can trade on your turn, crack it again if you need to. And generally you'll win just by doing that, because if they don't play the board game, so to speak, then you're just going to be swinging face with 15 worth of damage per turn. It's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, the deck is pretty crazy. You get these insane combo turns, so really I think that most of it is pretty much self-explanatory. I think the only things that I'd wiggle on, I guess, be Daring Fire Eater, Messenger Raven, and Jan'alai. Those are the spaces where you would want to potentially switch things up if you were so inclined. And really it does depend. Like I'm gonna try this same build but running 2 Doomsayer instead of Messenger Raven, just because I mean I haven't played too much aggro. I haven't played against Secret Paladin. I've played a few. Zoo I've played like 1 or 2 so far, and they aren't the best matchups for this deck. You miss the big AoE sort of spells. Daring Fire Eater is good, particularly for things like, or matchups like Bomb Warrior, Thief Rogue. Daring Fire Eater is good for that. And Daring Fire Eater obviously has its uses against the more aggro ones as well. But certainly against aggro, you notice the lack of wide removal. So you could go the Cosmic Anomaly Shooting Star route instead of Fire Eater and Jan'alai if you want. I mean it depends. That's like the purer version of the deck. I say purer version of the deck because the main advantage to the Shooting Star isn't even that it is, anti-aggro tools. It's just that it's an extender for your combo plays. Ideally you would be running like all the spells just so you could extend the combos as much as possible, but even with this sort of minimal lineup, you do still get a lot of value out of it. These are like Magic Trick and Ray of Frost are just the best ones in terms of the value generated. You only need one of them to get into, the draw 3 minimum mana cyclone plays. Shooting Star at the moment, the reason why I'm not running Shooting Star over Daring Fire Eater is just that without Cosmic Anomaly, it falls a bit flat. Like against Secret Paladin, it isn't really that good. against Zoo, it's okay. Certainly has uses. Against like Beast Hunter, it's pretty good, but you're pretty fine against Beast Hunter anyway. Um, so you get the most leverage out of it when you have Cosmic Anomaly, but Cosmic Anomaly itself is it's a bit of an expensive commitment. You know, like yeah, you can Elemental Evocation into it, but you'd rather have your Elemental Evocation for your Mana Cyclone most of the time. And I mean, you'd rather have Shooting Star for it most of the time as well. Um, and it's not like Cosmic Anomaly will extend your combo plays. It just sits around unless it's like turn 6 or turn 7. But that's when you want to be playing Mountain Giant and breaking them anyway. So yeah, it's not that good, but you can cut the Fire Eaters and Jan'alai for more spells if you want. You can cut Messenger Raven for more spells as well. So you could go a lot more dedicated towards it if you felt that way. There are a couple things I want to try in like a different sort of build as well. So I want to try one. Like I'd almost call this Miracle Mage, but I don't think this version of the deck is quite miracle-y enough to get that claim. But I do want to try one with like Questing Adventure and what's the banana guy? Yeah, Banana Buffoon. So in that version of the deck, I'd drop the Messenger Ravens, uh, probably Fire Eater and Jan'alai. Might be Astromancer instead, but I'm not sure. Astromancer is pretty solid. Yeah, I'd drop five of those cards in any case, and put in 2 of the Banana Buffoon, 2 Questing Adventurer, and maybe an Alex Strauss or something. Like Alex Strauss is pretty good, um, but it's not necessary. It doesn't always help. It's a bit slow in aggro matchups. It's a bit slow in Bomb Warrior as well. And the main use for it really is, well, obviously you can heal yourself in a pinch, but you also like playing it to put them on 15. So, you know, if you did the Conjurer's Call Mountain Giant play the time before, you just Alex Strauss and GG. But generally it's a bit win more in that sense. Like you're winning when you have the giant presence anyway. Like decks can't really handle that right now. It's quite noticeable how much weaker decks are compared to just a day ago. And you know, like every deck would be able to deal with Mountain Giant stuff before, but now removal is a lot more limited. So yeah, this is the deck anyway. It's good. Try it out. I mean, it got me to Legend Day 1, so must be pretty good. And we'll see how I go with it. I mean, no one's tried a deck like this so far. I don't think. I haven't seen anything to this effect, which is pretty cool. But yeah, if you want to try it out, try it out. I'd be quite pleased with that. It is a weird deck. It's the sort of deck that certainly I built it first and wasn't expecting anything of it. Like just at face value, I'd look at it and be like, this is quite a disjointed deck. There's a lot of things that aren't really connected, but then it actually ends up being good. And I think the main reasons for it being good are that, like, before, add a random mage spell wouldn't be that good because the quality of mage spells were lower. Now, like, most of the mage spells are actually, well, even if they're not good, they're at least playable. There isn't an unplayable mage spell now, strictly speaking. Obviously, some are better than others. Some aren't that good at certain times. say like Research Project is probably the worst, but even that can just be a shotgun draw too sometimes. Um, the bigger spells obviously have value and make up for the fact that you're not running them in the main. If you draw 6 or 7 cards off a Mana Cyclone play and you get a couple big spells off them, then that's absolutely fine. You didn't need to run them in the first place. They're a bit too slow to run, I think, now as a means of dealing with particular boards. Flame Strike maybe, like you could have one Flame Strike in the main if you wanted to, but there's not really much point when you can add them. But yeah, the quality of mage spells is pretty high, so the RNG is good. Elemental Evocation would be unplayable in certain decks. So like if you're playing a big spell mage that doesn't have any elementals and you get it off Blast Wave, then obviously that's very bad. But in this deck, getting Elemental Evocation is pretty great, even after you've used all your Mana Cyclones, because you can just use it to chuck down a Mountain Giant or chuck it for an Antonidas or something. So yeah, it's actually very good. I'd say the only problem really is dealing with aggro in the beginning of the game, so that's why I'm going to try Doomsayers over Messenger Raven. Doomsayers has some nice perks as well. There aren't really many silencers around, so I'd be interested to try it, but yeah, it's a good deck. Try it out. I mean, obviously it does require some investment in Mage. I like playing Mage, so you know, it wasn't too tough for me to dust the legendaries for it. But really, yeah, you'll just need to get Khadgar Mana Cyclone, and I I assume that if you're gonna be playing the deck, then you already have all the other stuff for it. That's about 2,000 dust if you haven't pulled one of them already. So try it out. It's really good. Surprisingly good. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that powerful little deck profile, and see you all around.